Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today I sit down with Dave van den Berg and later joined by Richard Wright. Enjoy the conversation. Well, thank you so much for having me in your beautiful, beautiful space, Dave. It's been such a pleasure seeing, all your trees, and it's quite incredible how quickly, you've achieved what you have achieved. I know you've got a background in gardening and so on, so I think you've learned a lot with that, dedicating your life to your plants and so on. But yeah, later when I show you all the beautiful bonsai garden that you do have, it's quite incredible. So the first question I just want to start with is, what is the first tree that really got you hooked, and do you still have it in your collection?
So we bought it's a Berg, a little monkey thorn along the side of the road near the Hardepeespoort Dam.
Okay.
And it costs about $600.
Wow.
It was a lot of money. And then it got stolen. So it was on top of, outside our entrance. So that was my first tree I ever got into.
Okay.
And then your children go through school and things, priorities are different. And then the first one, as I said to you, I met Anthony at Brooklyn, and they were okay trees. And then I think probably the best tree I bought from him was the Berg, the big one in the wooden box, the monkey thorn. And that I treasured. And it wasn't about the tree. It was about giving him enough funding to get his dogs to America. So for me, a tree's always there's a story behind a story.
Yeah.
And so if you could fund a guy, and there was one dog, I think it was about 17 years old, they were going to put it down. And I just said, no, whatever, get the dog. And when he put his first Instagram post up, the dog was there. And that just feels like, oh, that's so cool. And then once Anthony had left, I kind of met Richard. You met Anthony here once or twice. And then it was next level.
Yeah.
Next level. Anthony became more of a potter. His business had shifted from trees to pots.
To pots, yeah.
Sorry, the sun might be a bit too much,
fine.
but it doesn't matter. So that changed my view towards Richard. And Richard wasn't always about the trees; it was about the learning of the trees. And we just enjoyed each other's company from day one. And I knew that if we buy good trees, that's why I asked you the question: would you rather take 10 nursery stock or one good tree? And I suppose there's a combo of something. I went for the better trees then, and then I learned that passion about having a hothouse, and actually I love the hothouse now. So
and thankfully you found Richard.
Yeah, the hothouse to me is like every morning I kind of go in and check what's
what's going on.
So there's a lot of, if you said to me what's the favorite tree, I got maybe 5 or 6 to choose from.
Okay.
Because they're so different.
It is hard. It's a very hard question.
Yeah.
So there's a question that will make you really think later about that.
I don't answer, at my age, I don't answer difficult questions.
So when choosing a tree, do you follow your heart, your eye, or your long-term vision?
I would probably, it must click from the beginning. So Richard, do you know that big, the olive? It was kind of forestry and it didn't look good. And then he shaped it. I said, okay, that's the tree. Because I didn't have the vision of what the tree would look like. So I think it's my eye that will first follow the beauty of the tree. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm not experienced enough to have a long-term vision of bonsai.
Sure.
My vision is a week ahead. so I'd probably just my eyes.
Your eyes, perfect. But that's cool. I think that's the most appealing thing, is it's such a visual thing. So, following your eyes is probably the right way to go.
And also know where it's going to fit in.
Yeah.
So if you gave me a tree, I can't carry it in the first place.
Yeah.
I can't position it because one forgets the space you need to have a big tree. The one Richard's got a very big hackberry. That thing's huge. I can't carry it. Can you carry it? Okay, so I wouldn't invest in a tree like that.
Definitely. And I think that's with your gardening background. That also kind of, most people don't actually think of that.
Yeah, so it's got to fit in.
Yeah.
You've got to kind of find a place, although the sun makes you change that space so many times.
Yeah. I think a lot of the time when people come and buy trees from me or so on, And especially when people are starting out, they're like, it's the first thing I always tell people is like, where are you going to place it? All trees require a different thing. And they're like, oh, I'm going to put it inside. And I'm like, no, you can't do that. And you can see their whole mind shifts. And I'm like, I'm not going to sell you the tree if you're going to put it inside. This, I've put so much hard work into it, and now you're just going to kill it inside. And, so
it's life.
I think
it needs to be outside.
Exactly. You need to, it's a very good, good way of doing it. So how do you mentally prepare before working on an important tree?
I think the timing of the season is probably the most important.
Okay.
So it's got nothing to do with if it's winter, you're not going to repot. If it's summer, you're also not going to repot if it's 35 degrees outside. So I think the season is most important. The guidance, you must know what you do. This is not about, let me take a chance and see what happens. Nobody wants to lose a tree. So I think you'd want to do some homework. You want to make sure it's, that you've got the proper setup. If you're going to repot because the pot broke, you must know you've got the medium. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to repot, and then you find out you haven't planned. So I think it is planning ahead to make sure that, listen, if we're going to do something, let's just, 10 steps backwards and plan it.
Yeah. So that final question I was talking about earlier. So if your garden somehow caught on fire and there was just one tree you had to save, which one would it be and why? Now you've got it. You have one tree. You got to you got to take.
Okay, so it won't be the heavy trees. So first of all, I'm going to save my dogs, but then okay. And then my wife. Sorry, I've got to include that.
No, your dogs, your wife is safe.
Okay, they safe.
It's just one tree.
Which tree? It's interesting. I'd probably take that little root over rock.
Okay.
You know the little it's a bird, Davy.
Yeah, I remember it.
Probably because it's easier to carry around, because at that stage there's probably bigger priorities than a tree.
Yeah.
Because I know they're all outside and they can't burn.
Yeah.
But if it's inside, yes, I don't know. I think I'm going to grab a hose pipe. But I don't know.
It is a very tough question.
It'll be something smaller.
Yeah, it'll be. You see, you're a very wise, very logical man.
Oh, you reckon?
Cool. So we're going to invite Richard Wright back into the interview. Got a question here which I'm very curious to hear, because they've got quite a sense of humor, both of them. Do you guys ever disagree on how a tree should be styled or remembered?
For sure.
Always disagree.
Let's just use it this way.
Yeah.
So we absolutely disagree, and that's quite important, because part of that disagreeing is challenging each other, which makes you think, and makes you think of a different point of view other than your own, and I found that very valuable. So
Can I use an example?
Yes.
That bougainvillea.
Yes.
We've been talking about cutting that thing off for 2 seasons now.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean you have to do it in that season.
Yeah.
And it's still there. But
and now we know what we're going to do with it.
We're kind of going to say, I think your idea is better.
Yes.
Let's go with it.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's not about who wins. It's
Yeah.
about what's the best for that tree.
Yeah.
And so here's the other thing too, which is quite cool, is I know what Dave's preference is from a bonsai point of view. I know what he likes, I know what styles he likes, I know what species he likes. So, for instance, if I'm moving a tree on, we're friends first and foremost. So Dave will always get hey Dave, I'm thinking of moving this on, before anybody even knows about it. That's just the deal with friendship, right?
But he forces them.
But there's some trees that we'll talk about that now. There's some trees where I won't bother, because I know if it's a cascade, don't bother. If it is gnarly, kind of clumpy, don't bother. There are certain trees that are Dave's trees. So I know when we're discussing styles, I might want to do something different if it was my tree. But we discussed one maple there. If that maple was my tree, I would have cut it back just to a trunk.
Yeah.
But I need to respect that's not Dave. It's Dave's tree, and I must try and help Dave to achieve his vision as best I can. And sometimes I'll say, but maybe this, or maybe not, or whatever, and then that's enough. And then it's cool.
Yeah.
His tree, he's got to live
But,
with it.
but if it's a
Yeah.
heavy styling, a restyling, I'll never touch it.
Yeah. You always get
If
Richard
we agree to a real restyle, which we haven't got there yet because most of the trees have been developed.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
let's say we get it time. I'll never do it without consultation. Never.
Yeah.
It's just the respect.
Yeah,
that I
not
think
yet.
we've gained. So Richard, this is what I'm thinking of. And if we agree, he'll do it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to.
That'll also change with time. I've seen
Yeah.
I've seen that there are things that Dave is doing more of that he didn't do before.
Yeah.
But definitely, and that's I quite like that actually. 'Cause
Yeah.
it is respectful. Like there are a couple of trees that are more heritage trees. There's the Cathy tree. There's the and you want to try and respect what the artist's original intention was with the tree to a point.
Yeah.
To a point, because you also do want to make the tree better.
Yeah.
But then definitely, so there is one. I'm trying to think of one where we boxed a little bit, but it wasn't bad. I mean, none of us are bleeding still.
No, you still left the same day.
Yeah, I still left the same day. No, I can't think now. But then the other thing I wanted to just throw in there is what Dave is quite good at is saying to me when he starts to get itchy and he's looking for another tree is, Rich, I want you to go and have a look around your garden and go and find the next best tree that you don't want to sell. Find that one for me. And then I'll look around the garden and like, there isn't anything I really want to sell. It's a really good tree. And then he'll
No, he uses swear words. He's not that.
Yeah.
good swear word. And then he'll come back with screenshot some of my Instagram trees. Hey, Brew, these three, I'm interested in these three. I'll be like, no, Dave.
Hey, mine.
I'm going to have to die. My wife will get hold of you when I die. And
Yeah,
that's when
yeah.
maybe you can get that one.
You can get that one.
But you'll keep trying.
Yeah. I feel like Dave is quite persistent.
Yeah. And what he said earlier is he's so methodical.
Yeah.
So which tree would you run with? Okay, hold on. Which one can I carry? Okay, but are they in the house? If they're outside, they're not going to be burning. I'm going to grab the hose pipe because I'm going to put it's like an engineer's brain.
Yeah.
But that also trickles down to the trees. I've learned with them is very practical.
Yeah.
It's got to be. So we are different as people. And all of us growing bonsai are different, and we see things differently.
Totally.
So my challenge is to work with that practical. Dave isn't looking a week from now or 2 weeks from now, and sometimes he'll trust me to the point that he'll say, which tree would you recommend I buy, or which tree, and I'll say that one. I'm letting that one go. That's a really good tree.
Yeah.
And trust me.
Yeah.
And you'll.
Yeah, there's never been doubt about
Yeah.
buying a tree and think, yes, I wonder if it's going to survive, and I wonder if he's done the right, and I wonder if he's done all that. You'll get a 10 out of 10 tree, otherwise he won't sell it.
Yeah.
And that makes a big difference because I get it in a, let's call it perfect condition. Then I need to look after it. So the pressure now swapped.
Yeah.
It's saying, hey, you better look after
Yeah.
this thing. And to me, it's always sun and fertilizer.
And a good amount of water.
And a
Yeah.
good amount
yeah,
of
and
Yeah.
water, yeah.
But it's like trusting the coach
Yeah.
and then trusting the tree.
Yeah.
It's like the same. Yeah.
And that's the process.
But
Yeah,
sometimes I say,
completely.
okay, Rich, is it shady? Is it can I take this? Can I do this? So you
Yeah.
kind of, when you're setting a tree, where am I already thinking about
Yeah.
positioning it? No, it needs full sun. I said, fine. If it needs afternoon shade, I've got to think about it. It's not that simple anymore.
The nice thing is that I know his garden so well
Yeah.
that I can say this is the tree you're going to put there, and then I can say to him, do you still have space in your shed because this tree's going to have to be there.
Be there. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe that's not the tree then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thinking ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what advice would you give to someone starting a collection with the dream of one day having something like this? Like
Who's
your
the question?
beautiful to you mainly, but Richard can also.
I think it's a good question. It's first of all, you need the space.
Yeah.
Because you've got to know your limitations of your garden. You've got to know, listen, if I'm on the southern side, it doesn't help me growing bonsais because I'm just not going to get the joy of it. They're just going to die. So I think you need the northern sun. To me, that will be number one. Number two is you got to read up a lot before you want to buy a species. So you want to buy a species. I'll probably do 3 nights of good reading about check this, but not all that stuff is right because it's all European driven.
Yeah.
So when they say you must do this in autumn, that's exactly the opposite. It's because they're talking from a European point of view. So you've got to know what species you're buying, and then I think you just got to do it. You've got to buy that tree, but you need it. It doesn't come with a guidebook. It doesn't come with an index. But you need to say, Rich, I'm doing this. I think you could be overwatering. So lots of times you'll say, did you see that myrtle, that comment that you made about the myrtle? You said I could be overwatering. You may not have heard it. I heard it.
Yeah.
And I think you're right.
Yeah.
Because it was struggling. Remember, it was, and I saw the buds for the first time. But so coming back to your original question is you need the space. You need to understand your sun. To me, the water and fertilizer is a given. You can just do it. And then you need somebody you can go to on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And really, I mean, to have a guy that you can buy 10, 20, 30 trees, I don't think it's normal in this country.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of collections.
Yeah.
Unless they're commercial, like we've seen some in Cape Town. But I don't like that because they're commercially driven.
Yeah.
With the least amount of fertilizer.
They're going to set you up for failure,
the least amount of water. Where here, you're buying it out of a home. There's a big difference in buying trees out of a home than in a commercial nursery.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't like commercial nurseries to buy.
No.
So can I add into that?
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
So
am I going to hold on to this for a long time?
so you can I agree with Dave. If I'm going to buy a tree, it would probably not be from a commercial nursery unless it's a commercial nursery that have better quality trees.
Sure.
And I'm going to be able to. But in their defense, they're growing for mass market, and they're growing for entry level, and they're growing trees that appeal, and there's a price point.
Yeah.
So and that helps people to get into the game. So there's definitely a place. But I think the thing that I would like to say more than anything else is, and I saw this recently when I got into building a better koi pond and getting more koi. And one of the comments a friend said is, go and find the koi expert that you think you respect the most, who's most likely to be able to answer all your questions, and stick with that one person.
Yeah.
Because the problem is, you get a lot of koi experts out there, and they're all going to give you different advice.
Completely.
And you're going to sit there thinking, which is, so I agree with Dave then, find that one person who you trust and follow that. Because I might say in organic soil, but I have good reasons for that, and I can manage that process, and but I could grow the same trees as well in organic soil. It doesn't necessarily mean the one is right and the other one is wrong, but you need to trust that one person and then stick with that person. And then once you feel that you have moved on from that person, find another person. But I think that's really important. I did the same. For me, it was a club, but it was one or two people within the club, and building those friendships. And there's still people that I consult with now. Craig is one of them. So that I think is absolutely critical. And that person's going to help you to figure out what species are going to work best in your garden.
Completely.
Because that, I see it again, and I learned the bad way. You probably did right in the beginning. They've not quite as much. But you go and buy things that look gnarly in nurseries, but they're in these black bags that are falling apart. And they're at the back end of the nursery. You're like, oh, this is bonsai gold. No, it's the unhealthiest plant you could possibly. It's not going to reward you. It might look like a bonsai, but it's not going to reward you. So what are the things that are going to reward? Because people lose interest in bonsai for many reasons, but one of them is just this tree isn't doing anything. It's not. It's not. I wanna clip, but you can't. Get something that is going to reward you quite quickly, and then get 10. Start with a bunch. And you'll learn, and they don't have to be expensive.
And master one species almost, and then move on. I think that's also sometimes.
That's interesting. Master one species, because there's such a lot of
and they're so different from one another. I mean,
So Dave did in the beginning. It was a little bit. Dave, this is an amazing tree. Would you like it? No, it's an olive. I've already got an olive. I'm trying to collect one of every species.
I was exactly like that.
I was also like that. In fact, I had a book where I ticked off all the species.
I was the exact same.
So encyclopedia.
So it's very much like that. And if I go back now, I'm like, wow, I've actually probably had most of them. But if I go back now, there are a whole ton of them I wouldn't touch again. Wasted
a lot of time.
Yes. But it's the time.
Right? Completely.
One day I said to Richard, I want to do a jacaranda. He says, don't touch it. I said, why not? And he gave me 10,000 reasons. I still thought, jacaranda. But they've learned after 20 years, don't touch a jacaranda.
Yeah.
But then
But it looks so
Everyone wants a
beautiful.
good
But then
jacaranda,
Dave
yeah.
did show me that one picture on Google where there's one jacaranda in
That's
flower in
with
somebody's
the,
garden.
yeah.
Maybe South America somewhere.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
But it still doesn't look like it just got flowers on it. It
Yeah.
looks like a jacaranda. So
Yeah,
so,
there's some you just stay away from.
Yeah.
So there is one growing in amongst some aloes in a pot in my garden, self-seeded. We had a jacaranda tree, and I let it grow really long, cut it back really hard every year. And one day when I repot those aloes, that's your tree.
Christmas is in a few
Christmas
months.
is coming soon, yeah. So this will make you really ponder. If this entire collection could talk, what story would you want the world to hear? And we'll end off like that.
To me, the summary is it's a nature lover. It's a person who respects nature and nurtures it. And if that's your signature,
Yeah,
that you've tried to make gardening good and made it,
yeah,
then that's fine. For
Yeah.
me, it's all about the love for this. You've got to love bonsai. You've got to love gardening. You've got to love being taught.
yeah,
You've got to love coaching. Coaching, my old dad always said, you've got to be a sponge. You've got to
Yeah.
absorb and absorb all the time. So that, to me, his message is that it's not material. It's not Louis Vuitton. It's got nothing to do with that crap that you buy in retail. This has got to do with something that you can't buy it.
yeah,
It's not for sale. Yeah, they're all for sale, but that one is not for sale. So a lot of guys will come in and say, listen, I'll buy it for you. No. I'll give you I'm not interested.
yeah,
So there's value beyond material, and I think this world's too material about
Yeah.
many things. This is just our little escape.
yeah,
This is our little heaven where we can say
yeah.
this gives us energy. This
Completely.
loads our
And I
battery.
feel it here, yeah, definitely.
So if that's what it happens,
Yeah, there's a lot of passion, and you can see the quality of your plants, like the health that Richard completely. You can see that.
it's funny, you see it. But when you
You-
see it every day, you don't see it.
Yeah,
No, your trees are.
no, they're looking really,
It's
really
interesting.
healthy.
I
Yeah,
think also because winter and everything looks ugly.
yeah, completely. What did you say with?
Three things.
Yeah,
So the first thing I would say is what this has taught me is it's going to sound like a weird word, but it's fellowship.
yeah, that's
Um,
really nice.
Is fellowship. My
Yeah.
time with Dave is I leave with more energy than I came with every single time, and it's not just the trees; it's the two of us with the trees. And I mean, you're included here too.
Thank you, yeah.
I wouldn't have met you had it not been for this, and
Completely.
how amazing.
Yeah.
So it's the fellowship over a shared fanaticism, because that's really what it is. It's a fanaticism.
Lunatics.
Well, yeah. Well, everyone's sitting inside, and we're sitting here chatting about bonsai. And it's been like 4 years later. I mean, 4 hours later.
So the fellowship.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, and I would never have I'd value this
Yeah,
highly.
completely.
So the fellowship. Number 2 is letting go.
Yeah,
Big lesson for me. These are all the trees that I held onto through all those cancer years. I don't let go because it's identity and it's me, and it's I've had them for so long, and it's what they mean to me, and it's actually okay to let go. And when you do, the joy that Dave has had from
Yeah.
my ability to be able to let go has been astronomical.
Incredible,
And
yeah.
to see that and witness it, and then when you let go, it doesn't mean that they're gone forever.
Yeah.
Especially if you let them go to somebody
right
who,
person.
So that, and then the last thing is legacy. That so many of the trees here weren't mine to start with. Some were mine to start with. They've all moved on to a new owner, and they will move on again.
yeah.
And how beautiful is that?
That's like if you can nail that with bonsai,
Yeah.
you're doing something right. Yeah, I think that's very cool. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for today. I really appreciate it, and
Yeah, thank you, Clark.
amazing breakfast we had.
Thank you,
You
Berg.
know, but yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so
Cool.
much. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome.
Fellowship. Thank you so much for watching. See you all next week, Saturday. Have a beautiful day.